Howdy folks, today's video is my 2024 book tags, which is basically just a bunch of questions about the books that I've been reading, and I answer them for you. So it's basically just a big bookish Q&A. My first question is, what was your most surprising read of the year? And for this one, I actually have two. My most surprising book is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is a cozy fantasy, but it isn't like nothing happens. There are some little bit of action, some things happen, but it's really cute and I loved it, and I didn't think I'd like it because I'm an action girly and I didn't think I'd like cozy, but it was really good. The next one is Love and Gelato. I'm not sure who this is by because I listened to it and it was such a cute romance. It's in Italy, I think, because gelato, whatever, but this girl moves there because one of her parents wanted her to, I don't know, and she meets this neighbor and they're kind of like bickering, and then they go on a little mystery adventure, and it's really cute and I loved it. And then also is The Prison Healer. I wasn't sure if I'd like this. I'd heard mixed reviews and I loved it. It was super good. Next is, what is a book series that I wish I had gotten to this year? Or a book or a series that I wish. That would be the second book to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is The Map of the Other Lands. I really want to get to this year, but I wish I had gotten to it last year. I've had it for a couple months now, and I really just need to read it because I'm excited, and my mom actually read it and she loved it too, so that makes me want to read it more. And I also wish I had gotten to Ruthless Vows, the second book to Divine Rivals. I loved that book, and I've just been putting this off because a lot of people have said they don't love it or they didn't love it as much, and I'm just sad. And I started an audiobook and got like a couple chapters in and I wasn't in the mood, so I'm just scared to read it because I don't want it to be bad, but I need to know how the whole thing goes because the end of the first book was not good, and we need to wrap that up and figure out how it fixes itself. So this one I need to read this year. Next is, what was the best book you read this year? And I have a really hard time with this because I feel like a lot of the books that I read I didn't love this year, but I liked. They were all kind of mid. There were a couple that stood out, but they weren't probably the best. So this one's kind of hard to say. I did really like Sense and Sensibility. I have that over here. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. And then we also have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. These are both classic novels. They were super good. I don't know if they were the best. They were probably the best literature-wise and like written really well and amazing books. But I don't know if they were the best. But also, The Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir, the third book in the Ember and the Ashes series. That was a fantastic book. It's a lot of political things and war. It was really good. It's like fantasy, if I didn't say that already. It was really good. That one was my favorite of that series. And I have a lot of other favorites, but not like they were the best of the year, which is really annoying. And hopefully this year, I'll have a lot more really good reads. Okay, the next is a book that you read this year that was on your TBR for the longest. And that would have to be Cress by Marissa Myers. This is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles series, which is fantasy. They're kind of sci-fi, but they are fairy tale retellings. The first book is Cinder, which is Cinderella. Second book is Scarlet, which is Red Riding Hood. This book is Cress, which is Rapunzel. And then the fourth book is Winter, which is Snow White. These books, they're really good. I've just been slightly not in the mood for them as much. I loved Cinder, and they all the characters in the four books meet up eventually, and all their stories collide, I guess. And it's really good and really well written. I love Marissa Myers. She has really good YA fantasy and stuff like that. Her books are amazing, but I've just not been so much in the mood for it, but I am so glad I got to this book. It's literally probably been on my TBR for like 3 years since I started reading. Well, the second time I started reading, for real. But yeah, I finally got to it, It was really good. The next question is, what was my most disappointing read this year? And I would have to say Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I know everybody loved it. It just did not hit for me. It fell quite a bit short, and it had a lot of similar factors to The Red Queen and Hunger Games, and it was kind of copy and paste. And it was super insta-lovey, and everybody says it's enemies to lovers, but in their heads, they both love each other, and it's like, I don't want insta-love. I don't like insta-love. I need banter and actual hate. Like, they have to change their minds, not instantly love each other, but pretend they hate each other. That is not the same. And it just wasn't my absolute favorite. I'm going to continue the series. I read Reckless and Powerful, and I'm excited for the third book to come out. It fell short, and it was a disappointment, slightly. The next disappointment is also If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan. Second book, kind of the same timeline as If You Had Been With Me. This one was kind of disappointing. It had a lot more in it than I was expecting, and parts of it I really liked, but it was a little disappointing and really long. And the last point of view I did not care for. But that's okay, because I still love the first book, and it was good. So that's good. Next is my favorite reread of the year. That would have to be Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is a YA romance. So good. I've already talked about it a million times. Lynn Painter is the best at YA books. She does have other not YA books, so I haven't read those, but I know her YA ones are really good. This is about a girl and her neighbor who are like rivals, and then their neighborhood best friend who had moved back, and she has like a meet cute with him, and this guy and Wes, her neighbor that are rivals, they are friends. So Liz, the main character, asks him to help her get closer to the new guy so that they can date, and then they just fall in love, and it's really cute. It could be a little corny at times, but it's just so cute, and like, you need that sometimes. Next is, what was my worst or least favorite read of the year? That would have to go to You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus. I just really did not like it at all. I couldn't get into it. There was too much going on. There was too many characters and backstories, and the mystery had to do with like drugs and stuff, and the whole plot was kind of weird. It just fell off for me. I know it might be other people's good favorite books, I don't know, but I just didn't like it. I like some of Karen M. McManus's other books, like the series she's known for. I forgot what it's called, but those are good. I just didn't like this one. So yeah. Next is my new favorite author, and that would have to be Maureen Johnson, who wrote Truly Devious. I read the first 4 books in the series this year, and I will have to just say, I love Maureen Johnson's writing. This is a great book. This is a mystery. Why a mystery? But we'll talk about that later. 9 is author that I didn't work out for me. That would be Alex Michaelides or Michaelides or something like that. I'm not actually sure how you say it. But I read The Silent Patient and that other one. The Fury? Probably. It's something like that. But it's them on an island. And they're both thrillers. His writing is just not for me. The style that he writes, not my favorite. So his just did not do what they should have. They were good. I'm just not a fan of his writing. 10 is a favorite new character. That would be Nate from Truly Devious. He is so funny, slightly relatable, and just hilarious, and like so caring, and I love it. It's cute to see him getting closer to the main character, Stevie. I think that's her name. But Nate, he's the best friend. I love him so much. He's so funny. He's awesome. Awesome. 11 is the saddest book that I read this year, and I think that would be this, just because of what happened in the first book and how it's kind of in the same timeline. I'm pretty sure that would make this the saddest book. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the saddest book I read this year. The happiest book this year, to be on the opposite side of the coin, would probably be The Lost Ticket. I'm not sure what the author is, I forgot, but that was the only thing I could think of because it was pretty cute and lighthearted. Oh, also Love and Gelato. That one was really good. There was some like undertones that were slightly on the sadder side, but it was lighthearted. So those were both really good books. I don't know if The Lost Ticket's YA, but there's no spice in it. So that's good. And Love and Gelato is YA. 13 is the best series that I read this year or started. That would be Truly Devious. I read the first 4. There's like 7, I think, or going to be 7. I could be wrong. The first 3 books are my absolute favorite because they are all following the same mystery, and they just flow so nicely, and they're just so good. And I just loved the vibes. It's a little slow to begin with, but I didn't have a hard time getting through. Usually it being slow puts me off completely, but I was just in the perfect mood for this series. Like, perfect mood. Loved this. YA mystery, found family, almost dark academia, but also it's not quite dark, but it's academia. The Naturals, it was super good. Loved this with all my heart. I read the whole series this year. And then Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This was actually really surprising. This one is really good. This is about Citra, I think, and Rowan. And they are chosen to be Scythe's apprentices and have to go through the trials and training. And they find out all the like politics and things that go into being a Scythe. And it's really good. This is dystopian, kind of dystopian sci-fi-ish. Not quite sure, but it's really good. And then the prettiest cover that I would say that I read is probably Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, because look how cute. And I love how the spine's a different color than the full cover. And then the pages, I just love this cover so much. And I love the second book even more. I just haven't read it, so I can't count it yet. But they're just so cute together. And like, I love it. Whoever designed these, chef's kiss. So good. And then the longest book I read, I'm going to go with audiobook and physical because that's slightly different. So I think for the longest audiobook I read is Cress. It's 500 and something pages long and probably like 17 or 18 hours. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, 550 pages long. And then also the Reaper at the Gates is 17 hours. I'm not sure how many pages that is, but it's really long. So I'm going to do those two. And then the longest book I read would have to be both Finale, which is 478 pages long. And then also Jane Eyre, which is 507 pages long. So this is the winner of the book that I physically read. And then probably Cress is the longest. It could be wrong for the audiobook. Okay, and then lastly, the shortest books I read. I'm not quite sure who wins because I could be wrong. They're both novellas. One is Powerful and the other is Spectacular. This one, I don't know because this is mini. So the pages are smaller. So I'm not sure how many pages it would actually be if it was a normal sized book. Where are the page numbers? But this one is 221 pages long, which seems really long, but they're mini pages. So I'm not sure if that can count or if that's actually 200 pages. And then Spectacular is 203 pages long. I'm gonna really quickly check how long they are in audiobooks and see if that changes. Okay, so I just checked this and this for how long they are. This one is 5 hours long, which I was not expecting. And this one is 3. I didn't think about it, but the amount of pictures in this book take out a lot of pages. They take up full spaces, and there's a whole lot of pictures. It's really cool, and like, Ooh. That was funny part. But yeah, there's a whole lot of like pictures and graphics. I love that. But this one's 3 hours. So this one definitely is the winner for that. That was the last question I have. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to come back hopefully next week for another video. Hopefully I can start being more consistent. I might post another video on Friday. We'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to get my New Year stuff going. I'm just getting I'm really slow at getting to that part. But it is the 6th. Hopefully this comes out tomorrow. We'll see if I can edit that fast, but who knows. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Cheers!